Well, we're at MSI right now, but we're not talking League of Legends. We're talking Riftbound, which is, I guess, a type of League of Legends. I'm joined right now by Changren, who's the executive producer on Riftbound, to talk about some of the, I guess, high-level structural aspects. Because I've talked to Dave, I've talked to Nick more about the game elements, but I've saved all the tough questions for you.
Great.
So, first off, I mean, when did you get attached to this project? Because I know you're located in China most of the time. You're coming over here for these events. So how did this all come about for you?
Yeah, I mean, we essentially started looking at opportunities in the CCG space for lore into China, I think late in 2022.
Yeah.
And Project K and Riftbound kind of came as a result of that, where we saw a lot of interest and opportunity in actually a physical product. And so we started the incubation of Riftbound with actually kind of a cross-ocean international team of designers, producers, testers, just like a lot of people who are very passionate about TCGs. And it quickly just kind of snowballed into what you see as Riftbound today.
Yeah. That's awesome to see. And you're doing a ton of travel all over the place for this stuff, right?
I am. So MSI, obviously in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I'll be heading back to China, where we will kick off a bunch of tours in game stores in Beijing, Guangzhou, Shanghai, where we will also prepare for the game launch in China August 1st at ChinaJoy.
Okay.
And then I'll be back to catch the last day of Gen Con as well.
Oh my gosh, That's crazy. All right, well, I do want to ask a little bit, speaking on that topic, I know this game is launching first in China. That makes sense because you had originally planned on it maybe being China exclusive, at least for a little bit. But when do you expect to see sort of a sync up of everything hitting at the same time?
Yeah, we want to do that as quickly as possible because we want to make sure the player experience across all players globally are the same. And so I won't put a firm date or in terms of the set, but that is a priority goal for us to line up the sets as quickly as possible. I expect that to happen sometime next year.
I think a lot of fans are probably wondering, it's like, okay, well, if you design the cards, like, why can't you just get me them? Does it take that long to translate them? What's going on,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's TCGs are blowing up right now,
yes.
right? And we want to make sure we're taking the time and care to not just, put text onto cards, but also to make sure that the cards have the right treatments in terms of the right paper, the right foils, the right ink varnish, as well as the right counterfeiting measures. And a lot of that takes a lot of time and care to get it right, right? I think the other thing is, we are going towards very reputable manufacturers of TCGs to ensure that these cards are produced at the highest quality possible for our global players. And so a lot of the first set of cards are produced in Japan. And so, just global logistics and distribution does take a little bit more time.
Yeah. I know that I think maybe the number one conversation I've seen around people who are excited about this game right now is, oh God, am I going to have to buy this from a scalper for 4x MSRP if I want to play it? And I know that you guys are hitting at both a great and terrible time to be releasing a TCG. Yes. I just went through the exciting world of Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering, which was highly in demand. I know Pokemon people have been literally fighting themselves at Costco. So what are people's expectations, or what should they be around the release of Riftbound?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can't control how players and scalpers will act. I think at Riot, especially at the Riftbound team, we are striving to get the game to be accessible. We want players to have access to be able to play the game. So what that means is we will keep a close eye on the market conditions and of the situation, and we will ensure that adequate supply become available over time.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of people who will say things like, hey, I have a League of Legends account. I've had it for maybe a decade. Shouldn't I be able to log in with a League of Legends account and guarantee myself a box or something along those lines? I also know there's a lot of tension around wanting to make sure that you guys are supporting LGSs and getting them products so they can purchase it through there. So I guess, would you say that you'd ever be open to trying to find some sort of anti-scalping measure like that?
Yeah, I mean, we will definitely have anti-bot, anti-scalping measures for the Riot channels, because that is the channels we control right now. I think the local game store is the one that is a little bit more tricky because that is one where Riot doesn't directly control, but we see the local game stores as a very vital part of our distribution, learn to play, organized play channel, and so we want to support them as much as possible. So I think it's finding the right balance of incentives to make sure that players are able to get their hands on the cards, are going to the local game stores or wherever the community is in order to compete, show off, do all the things that they want to do with Riftbound.
So it sounds like there will be Riot channels that at least will have some products.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm sure a lot of people will be excited to hear that. I'm sure you can't speak to how much product will be there and how quickly that stuff will sell out, but I'm sure that will be interesting. Are you all looking at additional print runs and how this, because I think some people might be worried that, this is the first run or this is the first set. They might come out with a second set, there might not be more, especially people who are less familiar with TCG. So how are you approaching that?
Yeah, I mean, I probably don't want to comment specifically on like print run quantities, but what I will say is, again, going back to us wanting to make sure that the game is accessible and that there is an adequate supply. We will closely monitor and ensure that players who want to play the game has the ability to buy the game at a reasonable cost.
All right. Yeah. And you are releasing a variety of products in this first run of the product or the first set that is being released. What are kind of the different goals for each of these products?
Yeah, so for the first set, we have the Proving Ground SKU, which is the 4-player entry, kind of almost like a tabletop game SKU. And for that particular product, it's more so for players who are into the League of Legends IP, who may or may not have played a TCG before, to really just get their hands on the game, to learn the game, and to have fun with friends together. We also have pre-constructed decks. Now, these pre-constructed decks are designed for players who are a little bit more advanced, who want to just essentially grab a deck and start, challenging each other to duels. And then finally, we have the booster packs, which contains, all of the cards in the set, and this is where we expect a lot of players who want to upgrade their pre-constructed decks or just to create their own decks to go and buy some booster packs and share in the happiness of opening them and getting the cards that they want.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of different options for people. They don't necessarily need to run out and try to buy only like a booster box. If they want to play, they'll be able to try these different options.
That is 100% right.
Cool. I know I talked to Nick just now and Dave a little bit. I know they have kind of a Magic the Gathering background. One of the questions that I saw some people ask is, what is everyone's background on the team in terms of TCG, how much experience they have? So I was going to ask you, what is your background with TCG?
Yeah, so I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I play Pokemon back in the day. Actually, I still play Pokemon, but now it's sort of like I play Pokemon with my son. Okay. He plays, and I will buy the cards for him to play. So I have Pokemon cards in Japanese, Chinese, and English. I think for Riftbound we've also taken inspiration from just more than TCGs, because we've seen a lot of card games and also like tabletop games like Mahjong, for example, where the social element of playing with 3 or 4 people just doubles or triples or even more than quadruples the fun that is happening at the table. So that is also why we push very hard to ensure that the social multiplayer components of the game are captured.
That's awesome. One of the other questions I had was just around, because you've been at Riot for a little bit now. Yeah. We've talked before about this. Riot has done some tabletop game releases, but for the most part, their releases are digital. How different has it been for Riot and for you in particular to work on releasing what is like a pretty big global release of a product? This is not something that's just like, we created this fun board game or this fun tabletop experience. This is truly a thing where you have to deal with competing goals from collectors and players and LGSs and your partner with UVS and et cetera.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference, obviously, I would say game development in general is quite similar, right? Like you need good designers, you need good production team, you need good artists and creatives, and for a digital game, you need the software to be great as well. For the for Riftbound, we fortunately don't have to deal with the complexity of the software part. However, we then also add back in the complexity of having to deal with physical manufacturing and distribution and OP, organized play structure that is working through a partner, right? So I think overall, I would say the complexity is probably about the same as a digital game. We're trading, in one area for a different one. However, Riot as a whole, we treat all of our game development through a fairly rigorous process. We want to validate that the game design, the quality of the art, of the gameplay are up to a certain standard before we proceed on with further investment in the product. And Riftbound, like other games within Riot's portfolio, has gone through that gating process and have essentially passed through the gates that that has passed through those gates, and therefore that's what you're seeing here at MSI.
Yeah. I do have some questions from my audience and my community, but before we get to that, I do want to ask, I know you are not working directly on the design team, as in you're not crafting the cards, but do you have a favorite legend or champion in the set?
Most definitely not. Most definitely
not at all? There's nothing at all that is of interest to you?
No.
Okay. Because Nick, I interviewed him before this, and he mentioned that you were advocating for a strong version of one of the champions. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Let me think.
Yeah.
Let me think.
You can't remember.
Yes. So I have a slight favoritism for Teemo.
Okay.
For Teemo, I think Teemo is it is the first character I played.
Yes.
Playing League back in I think beta, and it's just very cute, adorable, and he elicits very strong emotions in players.
Yes, yeah.
Both your opponents and your teammates.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay, great. And that's what you're looking to do in Riftbound as well.
100%. I've been looking at the Discord as well as the Chinese community WeChat groups where a lot of the Teemo, there are a lot of players who are looking to be Teemo mains, and a lot of them they're like, we're sometimes winning isn't the sole objective of playing this game, which I 100% agree with.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into some questions.
All right.
Lisa here says, will product be widely available, and how widely available will promos be?
Great question. So I think, again, our goal is for the game to be accessible, so we will make sure that the product is as widely available as possible. I think in terms of promos, we want players who are going to our events, whether that is the organized play events at the stores or our just broader events, to be able to participate and get promo cards. So yes.
Because here I'm getting a pin.
You are,
which is not a promo.
That is not a promo.
Yes. I was hoping when I got here and I played Dave that there would be some sort of promo that would be slid to me.
No comment.
Okay.
I'll call Dave and I'll say no comment.
Okay. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? Personally, this is Analog Caveman who says, personally, I've been enjoying Riftbound with 4 players quite a bit the couple times I've tested it out. Why are you shifting away from it for in-store play? Commander is the most popular format in every LGS I've been to recently.
Yeah, I think essentially, different players are looking for different things. And with the 4-player, it is a lot of just like social, have fun with each other. It's kind of tough to make that super competitive because of the social dynamic and make it perfectly balanced, so to speak, right? So the game is balanced around 1v1, and that is what we see in terms of what our hyper-competitive TCG players want, is that they want that 1v1 experience. So I think at the end of the day, what we're very much open to is understanding what the community wants once the game is out in the open and for everybody to get their hands on. And I think in fact, the local game stores will probably also adjust based upon what their player base are looking for.
I will say that when Fallout came out last year for Magic, one of the things I did was I went to like a Commander night where they had like an exclusive promo for that.
Yeah.
Do you see yourselves ever supporting the 4-player format in that way?
I think we're open to a lot of different levels of support, and I think once the game launches, you will see we are going to support OP.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of these other questions are mostly about the scalping situation. But okay, here's a question from Justin.
Yeah.
How committed is Riot to the competitive side of Riftbound? Will Riftbound be available at big box stores same day, or will LGSs have a head start?
So we want to make sure that LGSs are prioritized, as in we understand LGSs are not only the places where you purchase the product, but also the places that you are learning to play, that you are sharing and playing this game with your friends, and obviously that is some things that you cannot do at a big box store. I think we want the game to be accessible, so that is why we're also distributing to some of these mass channels. But again, most of our focus is on the LGSs.
Right. Do you know? I know that with pre-release in Magic, there's a week advance start before you can get stuff from your LGS before, for instance, Amazon can ship you something. Is that anything that you guys are considering or exploring?
So I don't have the answer to that question.
Yeah.
I think the
UVS question.
Yeah, they can probably answer that better. But for sure, LGSs should not be at a disadvantage for any of those things.
Cool. I think that is the majority of the questions that I have for
Excellent.
you. But I do really want to thank you for coming out, flying all over the place to be able to be at MSI.
Happy to be here.
Showcase it and have this experience. But is there anything that you would like to say to any of the prospective Riftbound players that are out there?
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't tried the game yet, I'd highly encourage you to try the game. Riftbound is the League of Legends TCG where you get to play as the League champions and have lots of fun with your friends, whether you win or not.
Yeah, as long as you're playing Teemo. Because even if you lose, you
have accomplished your goal.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the interview, Shaker. And for everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Riftbound right here on my channel. Thank you so much for watching that Riftbound video. If you are unfamiliar with me, I've made League of Legends content for the last 14 years. And now I'm really excited to jump into Riftbound. It's been really cool to see the channel grow and to get a lot of views in these first couple of videos, and I would love it if you would subscribe, because that will mean that I can keep creating content for all of you, and I'll feel super motivated to make even more Riftbound videos, and then you'll get Riftbound videos, and then we all win. It's a symbiotic thing.